Hey guys, boom, Charles Rudibaugh. This video is for you leaders that are already tracking your income bringing activities. We're tracking our IBAs, tracking our income bringing activities. Awesome. I haven't made this video yet though. This is exciting. So we may not have totally thought all the way through this one, and let me tell you why. This is exciting. Your exposure tracker. Now, your exposure tracker. This is typically for rubies and above, because rubies are really getting serious about identifying leaders, about making their list of leaders who have Blitz planners, who have a planner, who have a calendar, who are setting appointments, leaders who are keeping a calendar, leaders who are setting appointments, leaders who are building volumes, that are building promotions, leaders that are building. Right? We're making a list of our leaders that are building, we're identifying leaders, we're building our leaders, we're pouring into our leaders, we're identifying leaders who work, right? Solidifying and growing momentum, right? Growing momentum, solidifying momentum. We're identifying leaders. And we're going from ruby to emerald. We got to identify leaders. Like 50,000 QVs don't just happen, right? So imagine, when you start doing the right things that those leaders on those levels do, you're going to have those levels, right? You're going to have those volumes. And so one thing leaders are doing is going on 90-day blitzes. Your first 90-day blitz is to build momentum, right? Your second 90-day blitz is to grow momentum. And your third 90-day blitz is to solidify momentum. Your first 90-day blitz, income bringing activities, filling the pipeline, building momentum. Your second 90-day blitz, identifying leaders, picking projects. Your third 90-day blitz, really getting them paid. They're really identifying, teaching them how to start duplicating the same process. What we're going to do, imagine if you have all these leaders now, they're doing 90-day blitzes with you, and they're tracking their IBAs as well. And you create a culture with everyone tracking their IBAs. And then we're even tracking MBAs, tracking momentum bringing activities. But one thing I haven't trained on yet is how to use your exposure tracker to manufacture your promotion, literally. So we're already using our planner, right? We've got our appointments scheduled. We're counting our total IBAs at the bottom. We're tracking our total amount of exposures at the bottom. Now what we can do daily is track, okay, total exposures. Boom, total IBAs at the end of the week, total exposures, right? We're tracking our total exposures. This would be great, right? Kicking butt. So we got our total exposures for the week. Now, what do we do at the back of the planner? We go here to our exposure tracker, and we put the number in, boom, exposures for the week. Yourself, this is me, right? And now you got let's say you got your top 12. Let's say you got your leaders, your top 12 leaders, they're on 90-day blitzes. They're tracking their exposures as well. And so they got Blitz planners. They know their exposures for the week, and they can even send them to you. You guys can track. If they have a culture with their teams are using Blitz planners, that they're tracking their exposures, and they can send their numbers up. And you can everyone can report their numbers. Imagine everyone tracks their numbers, and you know how many exposures each of your leaders is getting per week, and you can track all the exposures per week. Well, why would that matter? Well, look at this. What if your goal was to become an emerald? Well, your goal is to become an emerald. That's 50,000 in QVs you need, right? 50,000 QVs, we'll divide that by 575. Well, what's 575? Well, if half the people joining your team are billed on builder packs, and half the people join your team on premium packs, well, premium packs are 750 in volume, and builder packs are 400. Average it out, that's 575. So let's say no one gets a customer. We want to build momentum. And no one's an auto ship. We want to build momentum. We're going to focus on momentum, but building a whole new team, having promotions with big momentum. Right? If we have promotions with big momentum, we build a big team, and this huge auto ship wave of momentum and income hits us with these big checks along the way, and this big residual income we build from customer base. But we want to get there building momentum. And so 50,000 QV, and we want to do that with reps joining the business. Now you're going to have auto ship volumes, you're going to have customer volumes, you're going to have potato pack volumes that make this number smaller, but with no auto ships, with no customers getting, then you need 87 reps to join at an average of 575 volume per rep. So 50% joining with premium packs, 50% joining with builder packs. You would need 87 reps joining your team to create 50,000 in QV. Well, if let's say your whole team on average has 2 out of 10 people join, well, that would be reasonable, right? Let's say 2 out of 10 people join, 10 exposures, we get 2 reps to join. Then let's just do the math. What we would need is 435 exposures to have 87 reps join across the team. So what we would need is 435 exposures divided up by these 12 leaders, right? Divided up by these 12 leaders. Imagine you need 435 exposures divided by these 12 leaders. Well, how much is that? That's 36 exposures each. That's just 36 exposures each. And if you divide that by 4 weeks each, that's 9 exposures per leader per week. And your leaders can be tracking their exposures. And I can say, hey, if David ever asked me, hey, Charles, how many exposures did you have this week? 28. I would know because I'm tracking. I got a Blitz planner. And if I said, how many exposures in your organization? And I can say, 843. Right? And it's, why 843 exposures, Charles? That's not enough for Purple Diamond. And I can say, I know, we're getting our exposures up. Right? But we can track it and we can get more leaders on the list. We can get more exposures per week because our leaders that are tracking their exposures are tracking their income bringing activities, increasing their ratios of income bringing activities to exposures, right? One exposure, one IBA, one exposure, right? We had one person on a webinar, one IBA, one exposure. But look at this, one PBR, 17 exposures. One PBR, one IBA, 17 exposures. So at the end of the week, we're looking, okay, I got 8 IBAs. I got 28 exposures. Well, that's really good. But I want to get my number of IBAs up. I want to get my number of IBAs up, if this was an example of me, right? Part-time is 8. Part-time is 20 IBAs. Full-time is 40 IBAs. But we're tracking IBAs. But we're tracking our daily exposures. Imagine if you had a team that was tracking their daily exposures, and you got a team, and you're like, hey, who's on a 90-day blitz? And everyone says, I am. These are the ones that say I am. Maybe not everyone. These are the leaders who say I am. We say, how many exposures did you get? And they got the number. And we're all playing team. And how do you know? You're tracking your volumes, your daily volumes, right? So you can report them. We're tracking our IBAs. Maybe we're tracking our MBAs as well. But either way, we can get as detailed as we want with tracking our exposures. We got our nurture tracker, right? We're nurturing our reps. We got our nurturer. We're nurturing our reps. And we're tracking our leaders' exposures. And so Ruby going emerald. Like, man, I'm barely a sapphire. Well, to go emerald, we're trying to identify leaders who are taking this seriously, who have a calendar, who have a planner, who are setting appointments, right? And my Blitz, if this is my Blitz planner, I'm not just writing down names of prospects. Like, this is a 2-on-1 for Mike. That's an IBA. A 3-way call. That's an IBA. It's not an exposure, but it's an IBA, right? Because he was already exposed. I'm gonna call Sandra. Try to get her as a customer. Okay, it's an appointment. I have a PBR. 4 people came to the PBR. 3 total IBAs. 5 exposures. Tracking our exposures. Reverse engineering our promotion to the amount of exposures we need, divided up by the amount of leaders we have who have a planner and have a calendar and taking this serious in our 90-day blitz. And we build the amount of people that are on 90-day blitzes. What's a 90-day blitz? It's just knowing what day you're on for 90 days. Knowing what day you're on for 90 days. You're blitzing. You're focused on the business. You have this planner in your hand. You're setting appointments, right? So you guys have been doing a great job of that. You guys are duplicating this. This is a call right now as we start to want to duplicate this. This is a video right now to start to want to duplicate planner duplication into the team. But this is not when we have 100 people join us, we go give out 100 planners. This is us tracking our new 100 people, in our nurture tracker. And the goal of eventually having 100 leaders that have a planner, that are on a blitz, that are tracking their exposures, and 100, and we can count all the amount of total exposures going on. Imagine we could count. Imagine if you could count how much people are at, and there's so much more happening that we're not even counting. Because all we're counting is these key leaders that we know of that are working, following the system. There's so many more people that are doing other stuff as well, but we're not even counting that. And you're hitting big promotions, and we know our numbers. And so this is using exposure tracker. It's like a Ruby and up thing in my mind. It's kind of like a Ruby and up thing. I think as you're wanting to go, you're Ruby, you're wanting to go emerald. That's like a thing that you're going to want to. You can get more detailed with that. If you can get more dialed in with that. If you can get more focused on that. If you can identifying leaders and their exposures, and we're starting to build this thing on a really high level, not just kind of hoping these big volumes come into our team, but we have the leaders and they're working and they're tracking numbers, and we're building that culture into our team. That I think you don't have to be a Ruby trying to go emerald to start doing these things. You can build this into the culture of your team at Pearl, and you're identifying, reading this, listening to this video, saying, hey, wow, if I want to go emerald, so I don't have 10 people, I don't have 12 people yet doing this, but I've got 1 or 2. I've got 2 key people, and they're starting to track in their exposures, 2-3 exposures per week, and we're going to start growing this. And so when people want this, when people want to like really like get into this, man, they can get as detailed as they want. We have accountability calls, right? They're tracking their numbers, they're setting goals, wow. You know what I mean? It's all done for you with the Done For You Blitz Planner. Bye.